boneyard in Alaska.
Yeah.
Where they're digging all that, and it's just like what's next? And they keep finding stuff that just seems to date back.
He's found these ancient bones that have saw marks on them. You haven't seen that yet?
No.
Oh my God, very clear markings, like
it sounds
completely
like a death pit.
sawed through. Where it seems like there was a mass extinction event that happened, and it's documented. Look at that.
Holy smokes!
Yeah, not just one.
It sounds like their death pit, like their waste pit.
No, not necessarily. No, because they found things that are there that they didn't. Like, he's found multiples of these.
Holy smokes!
And this is very recent. Now, here's what's crazy: the saw supposedly was only invented 5,000 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of these things he's dating, they're way older than 5,000 years ago. 10, 15,
looks
20.
like someone was hunting sick.
Yeah, not only that, but someone who had access to a saw, and they were getting the marrow out of these mammoth bones, which is nuts, man. And there's carvings on them. They found short-faced bear skulls. They found those skulls of cats that weren't even supposed to be in Alaska.
Oh.
He's found a bunch of species that weren't even supposed to have existed
this is
there.
so cool.
Oh, man, John Reeves is the fucking man. And his place that he's got there is insane. It's absolutely insane. It's so filled with animals and a very thick carbon layer. Look at these bison has there. Did you see the one that we have out front?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was studying it.
Yeah, I have to find a university that I can send that to and get it carbon dated.
Oh, yeah, cool. Oh, so you don't know exact dates of any of this?
He has some.
Okay.
And he just sent some of those bones that have been sawed. He sent some of those to be carbon dated.
Yeah.
So he's going to find out within the next few months.
This is going to be really interesting.
Fascinating, because if they're older than 5,000 years ago, okay, now we have historical evidence that predates the invention of the saw. Because whatever those things are cut with, that's a saw.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a smooth, clean cut. And it looks like human beings did it to try to get access to the marrow. Yeah.
It sounds like the original butcher shop.
Yeah. Well, the area that he's at, though, because of the thick carbon layer, what he thinks when he's listened to Randall Carlson and Graham Hancock discuss the Younger Dryas impact theory, he thinks he's in an area that got hit.
Right.
And that these things died off instantly, that there was, a large area where they existed in, and he's finding hundreds and hundreds of these animals in a small area. The area is only like 6 acres.
Wow.
Which is, it was smaller than that even.
Well, one of them is 6 acres, and the one that he's currently digging at is 4 acres. So there's multiple areas where what they do is they're blasting water into the permafrost.
Yep.
So they have like a cliffside, and they're blasting water into this permafrost, and then they'll see a woolly mammoth tusk.
Wow.
And if you've ever seen the documentation that he has on his Instagram, he's got warehouses filled with mammoth bones and skeletons.
This dude must be one of the most exciting people there is.
He's
as in,
so
can you imagine
cool.
just like blasting at a wall and be like, what's that coming? Sick.
Yeah. Well, he's so fucking cool. But the other thing that he's documented is that the Museum of Natural History in Manhattan dumped these bones in the East River. So they had these guys go out, and he announced it on the podcast. He told everybody where it would be. And these guys went out there, and they find mammoth bones. They found mammoth bones in the East River. They found these 15,000, 20,000-year-old bones that are at the bottom of the East River that were dumped there by the museum.
How long ago?
The 20s, the 30s.
Far out.
Yeah, far out. So that's one that they just found. So they found that in the East River. He's going to gift it to me. Yay.
You've got enough gifts in here walking around.
It'd be dope to have that one.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be dope to have that one. Because the reason why those guys were there is because he announced it on the podcast. And so they have it zip tied because it's cracked. They want to make sure it doesn't fall apart. But that thing was at the bottom of the fucking East River, which is just absolutely amazing.
That's sweet.
But John, because he's a gold miner, and so his land that he has up there is originally for gold mining. But along the way, he's found a fucking fortune in mammoth bones, and it's such an extraordinary area.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay, this gets more interesting. Here's a picture of one of the straight cut bones, still frozen beneath the ice wedge in the frozen muck, about 50 to 60 feet below the surface. So who knows how many thousands of years of ground is covering those things. And because it's permafrost, they're able to get these things out completely preserved. It's
That's amazing.
So interesting.
Yeah.
And just the fact that there's this very small area that he's finding these things in.
I'm walking around all the time, like looking for. I've never found anything like that, but
Yeah.
I'm just constantly looking for something like that that's undiscovered. You know, it's like without going out of my way. Like I'm just doing it while I'm hunting. But
Did
so
the
cool.
Aborigines, did they use bone or rock for arrowheads? Do they have...
So they didn't need bows and arrows, so that was never discovered. They didn't have a need for it because they were so efficient with spears. Boomerangs. So boomerangs were basically for hunting flocks of birds. So a big flock of birds would take off. So very suited for Australian conditions. Big flocks of birds, boomerang. Spears were, your wallabies, kangaroos, things like that. I believe a lot of the spears were just a hardened timber head. So like over a fire and hardened up. I'd have to look into it more. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I'm sure there was cases where they did use stones.